What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Shorts back again with another deck tech. Today we'll be doing The Day I Became a God. I'm joined today by Nico, my teammate from Bird One.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we're just going to run through this one real quick. So this set came out how long ago? It was like a month, 2 months ago? It's been a bit.
About 2 months. It came out, I want to say, end of May.
Yeah, something like that. So the TLDR on the deck, and here's the deck list. If you are just here for the deck list, we always have the link in the description. Leave us a like on the way out. That really helps us out. But if you want the TLDR on the deck list, it's basically like New Age rabbit house. Sort of. You kind of wait and then you play your big finisher. But you have some better tools to get you there. More modern tools for sure. And you got a pretty unique like event package. So we'll jump right into the cards. We're going to start with our, basic field pluses from the trial deck. This Hina, it's 3/5. You got 2 or less stock, and it's a center runner. Pretty well positioned against the meta. Things either want to go slow or like try field with a clean cut, and center runner denies that, as well as sitting big denies like the utility cards. So just an all-around decent plussing 0.
Yeah, the card's fine. You also have other options you can run in this slot, although they do, I think, might kind of like, you'd have to adjust the colors if you do so, because you also have, I think it's the Sora Chaser. It's like a 2500 card. I think it like chases from combat. And then you also have like the 3K clean cut profile, the same as the one Dow has.
Yeah, and then there's also like a yellow weird runner that you can also want if you're like worried about
like
yellow count.
Yeah, it's like the pseudo chaser, but I think she just like runs away. She doesn't actually like
something like that. I know it's like 2500 power or something, but you got options. This is a little bit of a flex spot for your plussing 0, but this is just the sort of the quote-unquote best one, so went with this. Moving on, our other plussing 0, we got 3 of the Krista. What's this character's name? It's been a while. I try to forget this show.
I think this is Sakura.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's a Krista. It's one of these new ones where you pay 1, you put a character from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock, so it can fix you for color, and then you salvage a character. Notably, the card that you pay out cannot be the card that you put into your clock. It's a weird simultaneous like cost pay timing thing. There has to be a character in your grave, so pretty interesting. And then when it becomes reversed, you reveal top. If it's a level 1 or higher, this card goes to stock. You have a lot of level 1 or higher events and stuff like that, so this is going to hit more often than not. A Ricky that refunds itself. These are like the new thing. They're really, really strong. Just a Ricky that's a good chumper later.
I feel like I play this card more as a chumper and like to get extra stock than I actually do a Ricky in a lot of my games.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to justify like even spending the stock that early, even though it is a good effect, and then you might be able to get it back because you have to play so many events. So it's like, that stock charge becomes really, really useful.
Well, ideally, like when you're talking about early game stock, a lot of the times your hand is going to be stuff like we'll get to these cards later, but it's going to be stuff like Flower Stand, stuff like Mask, stuff that can like already actively grab you your combo, which is what you're primarily looking for. So a lot of the times you're not going to be automatically inclined to like burn this when you got to get the events into memory anyway.
Yeah, it's like I got to play so many events. I got to get my named events in. So spending that stock, sometimes you just throw it down and try to get some extra stock instead of just spending it. Moving on, we're running 3 of the Hina back row. It makes all our events colorless. This is really important now that we're running the new red event, the new shop PR. Beforehand, you could make the argument that you didn't need this card because you were always in yellow and green early, and you could resolve all your important events. But now that we have a red 1/1 event that we want to play, this card becomes a lot more useful from like level 1 to level 2. It's also a 500 frontal on your turn. Only on your turn.
I kind of disagree with the other things you said a little bit, though, just because like I feel like you always had to run this card. I don't think this was a card you would ever consider cutting.
I always played it, but like I know there was definitely some discussion about the events being yellow and green. You don't need it that much, especially because the second effect, it's a pay 1, you mill 2, you salvage that, level or lower. It's climax agnostic. It's kind of like an Amagi, but it's a cigarettes effect. It's fine. It's a little bit of extra mill. It's a way to, get extra hand and stuff like that. If you have extra stock overhead, Hina finisher is a hand-intensive combo, not a stock-intensive combo. So sometimes if you do have that stock overhead from stock charges on your level 1 combo, you can turn that into an additional hand to fuel an additional finisher combo, which is pretty useful. But yeah, the big thing is it makes our events colorless.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that we're able to play all our events at any time because it's the majority of our level 1. Moving on, we got, this is our Brainstormer of choice, the yellow one. Primarily color fixed, to be honest. Fixing yellow is a little bit more rough than you'd think, but it's a salvage Brainstorm.
His name is Hikari.
Hikari. Okay, well, whatever. You got pretty close. We got pretty close. And then whenever you play an event, this effect is actually really good right now. Anytime you play an event, you blink one of your opponent's characters. This
makes the mirror match.
Yeah, so I was about to say. We played a lot of mirror matches down in Texas because it was right after this set came out, so everybody was playing it. And this card makes the mirror absolute cancer. But it is pretty good into like the current meta. There's a lot of cross-turn effects and stuff like that. Pretty good incidental value. There's also a Soul Pump Search Brainstorm, but that one's green. Gonna be completely honest, like fixing for yellow if you don't like choose to play a yellow field plus is like actually pretty scuffed. So, yeah. And I personally prefer Salvage Brainstorm, so I always went with this one. But you know, they both have useful effects. So if you want to change your field plus, you can play a different Brainstorm or something like that, or maybe play a split. It's up to you. But pretty simple card. Now we got the Sora Chiiri. It's a level 1 or higher Chiiri, so we're only running 2. This is the absolute wrong translation. I don't know how this happened. I can fix that right now.
I mean, I can just go over the card real quick. It's on play. The card gets 1500 power, so it becomes a 3K
there we go.
On play. And then when it goes into your waiting room, it's just a normal Chiiri effect. You discard a card, look at the up to the top 4 cards of your deck, you add a level 1 or higher card. Naturally, this sits on events and everything, so you have nice synergy. It's a good form of mill. Kind of helps with green fix a little bit, and the card's fine overall.
Yeah, again, only 2 because it's a level 1 or higher. Even though we are running that many events, it loses its usefulness as like, you know, a 4 of like you'd see other Chiiris, because those can lead into successive level 0 turns, but this one cannot, so it's not as useful.
And you have other ways to grab events too. So
is a good beater though. It's got that good Kirito Chiiri like 3K on play effect, which is always good. All right, moving on to tech level 0s. We got the Climax Swapper. Pay 1, ditch a Climax, choose a different Climax. We have a lot of Climax assurance in the deck, but this is just always a good include, especially when we only have like we're out all our doors and we need to get our finisher or something like that. And it's also a bomb, so it's totally fine to play at 0 as a, you know, something to out your opponent's 4K. Pretty simple card.
I've actually been thinking of perhaps cutting this card. I haven't acted on it yet, but the fact that you have like events that helps you grab Climax, and you have the Izanami to dig you for them and all that, I feel like this card isn't as needed right now. So I think in my list, this is currently like I'm looking at this card to potentially like swap out.
Yeah, for sure. I think with the
it's a little too
the PR event, it's probably not needed anymore. Yeah, but before that, and you know, I never changed it even after that because it still is a useful effect. But this is like a prime flex spot. You can definitely switch something. Also, a flex spot. We have the Flower Stand Bonder. You can discard a card, bond to the Flower Stand, which is 1/1 salvage. Reveal top. If it's a level 2 or higher, it goes to stock. So pretty low chance to refund. And then it is also a grappling hook, which is really spicy if you're having a really good game where you have a lot of extra stock from like cashing out your Ina combo, which we'll talk about in like the next slide here. But pretty useful card, pretty spicy card, but also a flex spot.
I think this is significantly less of a flex spot because this serves as one of your only few ditch outs that you're running.
It is costless ditch. That is true.
I was like, because for Chiiri, you still have to like pitch and then you might whiff. You're not going to whiff, but you might whiff and all that. So
yeah, you might.
I'm not even kind of like looking at this as a flex spot right now, at least from how I view the deck.
I like the card a lot, but I know that this card isn't very commonly played, so I just like to mention spots that people can change things because I know nobody's gonna completely agree on a list. So good to mention it, but I think we're both pretty biased towards the card for costless ditch, and then the second effect. I mean, I haven't used it yet. I've played quite a few games. I haven't used the.
Bro, just wait. You're gonna like queue into Milky Homes. They're gonna leave like one empty slot, and you're gonna be like,
you drag the Ellie, and it's over. All right, moving on to level 1 combo. We got
LeBron James himself.
We got the basketball Hina. So when you play the choice, you got to choose one of the 2 following abilities. Bounce back, so when this is front attack, you return it to your hand. The Obro, or on attack, you blind stock the top card of your deck. And then when this attacks, as long as you have 2 or more other characters, it swings in at 6/5 with the climax 7/5. So it attacks pretty big, and then it's either an Obro, and then when you're done with it, you can cash it out for a stock charge. This card is very unassuming, and it seems pretty whatever until you play it into this kind of deck where you're kind of just waiting to play your like super crazy finisher. And in a deck like that, a card like this, which is just like, okay, recur myself and do nothing, or stock charge myself for a finisher turn is pretty attractive. It plays into the strategy of the deck very, very well. A lot better than you'd think. But yeah, I'm a big fan after playing it into the deck. It really does, like I said, play into the deck strategy extremely, extremely well. When you're done with it, you just catch it out for the stock charge and you call it a day.
Yep, this card is super solid.
Yep, just your typical, level 1 advantage combo, but it does have that upside.
The fact is, you're also probably going to be like double or tri-fielding this consistently all the time, just because over half of your deck is literally like search this card or like salvage this card with the events and stuff. So
literally, I was gonna say the only way to lose this card is like into stock or into clock, honestly, because you can pay it out in stock. Not an issue. Our auxiliary level 1 is this Kako. It's the event Kome. So on play, you look it up to 3, choose an event from among them, add it to hand. If you don't add anything, you don't have to ditch, but if you did add an event, you do have to discard a card from your hand. So the fact that you don't have to add anything means this is just like a free 3-card mill on a stick. It's modular mill. That's pretty important for like hitting the right refresh timings, and that's really the only reason it's in the deck. If it does rip an event, that's incredible. If it does filter you, that's incredible, but you use it mainly as a deck control tool. And in the matchups where the clock bomb is relevant, like things like slime and whatnot, it can be pretty nasty, but again, this is mainly for modular free mill.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Moving on to our event suite, gonna move through these really quickly. 3 of the 1/1 mask, so just search for a character, shuffle your deck, send this to memory. 3 of the flower stand, which is salvage a character, send this to memory, and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 2 or higher, you send that card to stock. So this one could refund itself. Extremely low chance. I think it's less than like 20% or something like that. 25%. Really low based on like
you don't have a lot of like level 2 and higher cards. So, and the ones you do have, you're already trying to sculpt into your hand. So if you hit on this, you're a god.
Yeah, you almost never do, but you do play it in, again, even in high counts for a number of events, because we got to jam a lot of events for names for our Hina because of the way it works. We'll talk about when we get that to the Hina. But we need to split our search and salvage evenly so that we can always access our level 1, because we're really all in on our level 1. And speaking of being all in on our level 1 combo, we do have this card, which is tutors a climax from our deck.
I actually wouldn't even say this is both, because I think I've played this almost equally, and I think I lean more towards a lot of the time playing this at level 3. Just because like a lot of the times you're like at level 3, you don't even have to like hold the climax if you have this card in your hand.
Yeah, you can just throw it back so you can cancel.
Yeah.
Which is always nice. But having like this level of literally, it's almost like you're running 11 climaxes. Because you got to play this anyway to get that extra name. So, it's just like running 11 climaxes. It's like glow sticks, but like even better for the most part, because you have so many ways to add events to hand outside of just drawing it. And then our last event, this is the new PR event. If you don't have this card, you can run an extra Izanami back row and an extra Sora Chiri, because I know a lot of people don't have this card yet. It's a shop PR, monthly shop PR. So you choose one of your standing characters, rest it. If you do, look it up to the top 5 based on your board, so top X, and then you add one of those cards to hand, anything, and then you send this card to memory. So this is your 4th event. 4 is like your sweet spot for Hina. It's where you're really most effective. Anything beyond it is pretty diminishing returns. 3 is really good, but like 2 and lower, you get a big drop off in the effectiveness of the combo. So you want to hit for 4 when you can. And more importantly, this card fixes like deck speed issues with the deck while also playing into what it wants to do, which is build to a bigger finisher. And it can, again, also add climaxes and stuff like that.
To give you like an example, I kind of like, the moment we were done with our recent locals where I got a copy of this card, is I shoved 2 of these into my deck. Actually, we talked a little bit about this before we started with Carmen, but those are actually the exact cards I cut, and now we have like almost the exact same list without even talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much exactly what he said is true. This fixed a whole lot of issues that you originally had with the deck, like deck speed. Being able to dig through 5 cards is really powerful, and a lot of the times the back row you're gonna have one Brainstorm, which is a self-tap Brainstorm, and then you're always gonna have like the Hina, and the Hina never gets rested for anything, so you just always rest the Hina for this. So that's almost like it's not even like a problem.
Yeah, it's never a real cost because you'll always have that Hina in back row.
Yeah,
but yeah, a real big boon to the deck. I think a fourth, like, really truly playable event is all the deck really needed, and this fills that void in a good way.
Rest in peace to that promo, by the way.
Oh, the 1/1 idle promo that people were playing.
Yeah.
It was like 2K to board or something. This is infinitely better than that card.
Yeah.
So, moving on to level 3s, we got 3 Sora early plays. There are 4 or more early play healers, and your opponent can't play backups, and it gets 1500 power on placement. So it's a 10k, no backups, spammable early play healer.
Yep.
This is literally just filling the void between 1 and 3. You are literally waiting to play your Hinas. You are waiting to play your Kokochinos. That is all this deck is doing. This is literally just a band-aid on an entire level. So
Yep.
you play it if you want, if you can. Otherwise, just keep playing your Hina combos. Doesn't really matter too much. Just wait till level 3.
The healing is nice though.
Yeah, it is nice. The no backups is nice. You can clear more than you'd think with this card, because you deny your opponent their counter step. So
The other thing is though, you can also now this is being really ambitious, and now that we've cut Izanami to 1, it's a lot harder to pull off. But you're also able to play this behind an Izanami, and then depending on like the power thresholds the deck you're facing hits. This sits at 11.5 behind the Izanami, so that's still fairly respectable.
the Izanami is if you have 3 or more events in memory, you can early play it, and it's 1,000 power assist times that character's level. So the Sora would be 13 on attack and then sit at 11.5. And then it's also a top check X on play, which is why this card was cut down from 2 to 1, because we're running 2 of the red event, which also top checks X. So just too much bleed over to still justify multiple copies of this card. But if you can get it out, it's pretty nice. If you're in a matchup where you know that this card will be able to box out your opponent, again, you have so much selection, you can easily grab it. You have so many events, you're not going to miss the condition if you're having a relatively normal game. So decent tech include at this point, since our main top check X is going to be the event. Speaking of events, we got our Hina finisher. This is everything that you're building for. This is what you're playing the entire set for, is to play this card. Then on play heal, and then on attack you discard 1 card, just 1 card, and then you look at up to the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, and you choose up to 2 characters among them that have a combined level, if you add them together, equal to or less than the number of differently named events in your memory. So a maximum of 4, and then you send those directly to your opponent's clock. So basically this is ditch 1 Kokochino, so practically like almost free, which is insane. Yeah,
remember when we were talking about having a cancerous mirror match? The fact that this whiffs on events, and 11 cards in your deck are events.
Notably, if you reveal events or climaxes or cards that are too high to send to your opponent's clock, like they reveal 2 level 3s, that card just gets milled. It doesn't go back on top. So it's like a Kokochino and a Mocha in a way, where you're always getting quote unquote ping 1, and the climax gets milled off. So it can be really destructive. And it's on a great trigger. It's on door, so it's going to help you keep up your hand and then give you more hand to discard. Like every trigger you get, if you're like really strung for hand, you can like high roll and try to trigger and add a card back and then ditch it for another Hina and just slam it every game. But you're not going to have any trouble with hand or stock because of the way the level 1 Hina combo works. It fuels directly into this extremely well, to the point where I'd say that's like choice door is like almost the like can deck for the most part. It feels way too synergistic to be like, you know, this is exactly what they intended you to do.
Yeah. You can try like other combos, but yeah, this is definitely how they want you to play this. Just because the other combos have like a lot more moving pieces. And, kind of like more fail cases, if that makes sense. Because like the other like 1-0 combo, it's really weak until you shove all the events in memory.
Yeah.
And the other like level 3 combo requires like certain cards in memory, and then you have to pay them out, and then you're burning 2 and like if you're a burning 2, then why aren't you just playing this?
Yeah, but I don't know. What's your experience with this combo, Nico? I feel like this has had a lot of reach in every game I've played it in. It's just Kokochino, like,
it is
effectively.
Yeah, this is this will usually, like, if you can try feel this, you usually kill somebody from 3-0. Especially if they like leave you stuff to side attack, it becomes like really scummy.
Yeah, and especially like you're kind of sandbagging, so the chance your opponent fields a level 2 or level 1 are a little bit higher based on the way you're playing the deck. We have to wrap it up. Choice door, pretty cool climax lineup. 8 plussing triggers, but one of them can stock charge you if you want, which is always cool when you're playing a bunch of events. Choice has really really good synergy with, you know, this constant sort of like stock dinging where you have to pay one, resolve these events and stuff like that. So it's good to have the ability to stock charge yourself when you do get a trigger so that you can pay it out with your event. Here's the whole deck list overall. Like I said, if you do not have the red 1/1 event, play an extra Izanami 3/2 and extra Sorachiri. Even with 3 events, the Hina is still really good. That's what we did a lot of our testing on, and it still killed people from 3-0 mighty fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you do have access to it or you can get it, the event does make the deck a lot better.
Yeah.
But yep, I think that's it. Last slide that we have at the end of all of our videos. Card games competitive. You're looking to play Weiss, talk about it, get into the community and just start talking to people. You can check those out. We don't run or operate those, but we are in them. Well, I guess, you know, Burn 1 we operate competitive, but PGH we don't. And then Facebook, if you're looking to buy, sell, trade, as well as get translated spoilers for all the new Japanese sets, you can check out Global. Definitely join this Facebook group. And then Weiss Fight, if you want to try Day I Became God and you're not looking to buy it yet, you want to try before you buy, definitely hop on Weiss Fight, grab the link from the description in Encoredecks, jam it in there, and play a couple games. You don't even need to be in voice chat. You just hop in there, just like Dueling Book for Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're familiar with that, and give the deck a try. If you're interested in having any feedback on Weiss Fight, definitely join the Discord at the link. That's also in the description. Give feedback to the developer. They are very responsive, making the app better and better. Any closing thoughts, Nico?
Deck's pretty sick. I was actually surprised it turned out to be as strong as it was, but I think I'm satisfied with how this set turned out.
The deck's better than the show, that's for sure.
I mean, a kick to the balls is better than the show, to be quite honest with you, but all right.
Well, hey, better than Charlotte.
Wait,
maybe.
what? The show
See ya!
is not better.